Hey everyone, today I'm creating 12 cards using the Call Me Crafty SheetLoader card template from Feb 2023. This is part of a rewind that the creative team are working on. So some of us are participating and there will be a playlist below that you can go and check out the different creations that we've all come up with using the same sketch. Now, what I'm using here is some leftovers from a previous project, and I have a whole series of different pattern papers here from Paper Rose, and I am cutting down the bigger pieces to be the feature element on the front of the card. This particular piece is 4 by 2 1/4, and you can see in the background there that I have a pad of, it's kind of heavy black paper. I wouldn't call it cardstock, but it's heavy enough for me to do some matting layers today because this card sketch goes straight on top of a white card base, and it doesn't really work if I use my standard white matting layers, which is what I tend to use for most of my projects. Now, because a lot of these here are 6 inches long, you'll see I've created a little pile at the top of some of the leftovers that's a couple of inches by a couple of inches, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but later in the video you'll see that those pieces come in really, really handy. As I mentioned, I'm going to create black matting layers, so there's 2 sizes. One here is the strip that goes down the middle of the card, and this is, I believe, 3.5 by 5.5. Actually, it's 5.5 by 3 3/4, which means the pattern paper that's going to go down the middle of it is 3.5 wide and 1 inch deep. The other thing I'm cutting down is the matting layer for the feature panels on top. So lots of chopping down of black today, and I decided that I would chop down the black pieces first and then add the pattern paper. Often I will add the paper to the black and then I will trim it to make sure that I get a nice even border. But given these were very simple sizes and very consistent, I thought I will cut down the black first and then I'll be able to put the coloured paper in the middle of the black pretty easily with some liquid glue and make sure I've got an even border. As I was working through these, because I traditionally work on my Altenew craft mat, I was finding it was actually quite difficult to see the black mat versus the black mat. Well, that's a bit crazy. So I got myself a notebook, and you can see here this makes it so much easier. So definitely crafting on a contrasting color to whatever your project is definitely helps. And given I normally work with white, I hadn't really run into this challenge before. Now I have some of these left over from the previous time when I used this sketch, and I might put a link below to my previous cards as well. And so I grabbed these from my stash. I didn't have to stamp anything out, which is really nice. And today I'm going to make a series of hello cards, so generic cards, and also thank you cards. This is a pretty straightforward process with these. They did not take me very long to make, and it was really satisfying using up a bundle of spare paper that had been sitting on my desk for a little while in my partially used scrapbook or pattern paper pile. So here I am trying to figure out what am I going to put on top of what. And it was at this point that I realized the strips of paper that I'm putting here at the top and the bottom of the middle panel are only going to make a few cards, and I'm going to have to go and get some more paper to finish off all of these 12 topper elements. So I decided to stretch my supplies. So here you can see that I'm grabbing 2 from each of the piles of 4 and I'm putting them at the top and the bottom of the card layout. This means I'm going to get most of the way through the backing panels, but I think I have 4, maybe 5 left. And so I am going to go and get another piece of paper from a paper pad that is left from a previous project that I think will match nicely with most of these papers. Now, keep in mind, these papers are not all from the same collection. They are from a Black Friday box that I got of seconds from Paper Rose. So they are a complete jumble. But with these 2 neutrals of the tan style color and then the sort of pinky red, I thought they would match quite nicely with just the whole range. So you'll see here I'm going through and adding my special surprise. Because of the way that the element on top covers most of the backing here, I decided that all of those small pieces that I had left, all the 2 by 2, if I trim them down and put a small piece of paper on the right hand side and a slightly bigger one on the left, then actually when I pick up that topper, see here, it covers it perfectly. So what that meant was I did all 12 cards using exactly the same challenge, and then it was just a matter of matching up the front pattern paper with whatever colour designs we've got at the back. Now, these are far more bold and far more colour intense than I would normally make, but it was really, really fun doing this using up leftovers and just challenging myself to think outside the box to make sure that one package of pattern paper is all used up. I'll put a link below to any of the elements that I've used today if they're still available. And you will find here a link to the playlist for the rest of the creative team and another video that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.